the best book on mining law published in the 21st century. It must be good because look at that cover. It's cool. Well, when you read the introduction, you find out it only took me 41 years to do the book. And what it's about is a mining law that was needed at the time for placer and hard rock mining. And then taking it from the 1850s, from the gold camps here in California, to the Congress in 2008. Because what happened was a whole series of unintended consequences. The mining law morphed. And people used the mining law for not mining purposes, but for the purposes of building ski resorts, hunting cabins, having a good time. Polygamists in Arizona filed mining claims so they could move the family in and do their $100 of work a year on the mining claim. So they're living on the federal government. Well, starting in the 1950s, people said, wait a minute, mining is causing a great deal of environmental pollution. Got into that because I was interested in the development of law in the American territories in the West. So I started, and I just never got the mining chapter into my master's thesis. Got into this book because I was writing a presidential address when I was president of Phi Theta. And I had to give a talk, so I thought, what will I talk about? Oh, I'll talk about a couple of trials. So I got Laura Fair, well actually I got a couple of them in there. I got a divorce case in there. I got a Ostensia Barta. Titling books is difficult because you're always looking for some way of hooking people. And there's also, as my students all point out that have read this book, you can tell the difference between what I'm writing and what Brenda writes. Okay, here's chapter 1. The insanity defense in court and in the press. Brenda retitles it, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the sanest of them all? Number 3, 1920s, Toward the New Woman. Hey, I like that. The New Woman, you know, I teach women's history. No. Feminine Wiles on Trial. How does she do this? But what's the most common reason women are blowing guys away? Because they get beat up. That will then change basically in the 1940s. The other thing that's interesting is at this time in the early 20th century we start seeing feminist organizations coming to support women who are being tried for murder. They can't figure some women out because they sit there emotionless. And you know, women are supposed to be emotional, but they're not being emotional. Therefore, you get women that are called the enigma woman. Okay. She's an enigma. Okay. Women who kill men. California courts, gender, and the press. This is an actual invitation to an execution. Book everyone needs a copy of. Right? Invitation to an execution. Now, to cut expenses, we have exactly one illustration of the book. This is one of these unusual books. Let's see, Stacy Malika, Political Science, Cal State Fullerton. Second one, Conflicts of Interest, Business, Death of the Bird Court. And this is written by Michael A. Pearson, who got his master's degree in American Studies at Cal State Fullerton. Vanessa Gunther, Chapter 4, Murder Most Foul, Native Americans, the Evolution of Death Penalty. Her specialty is Native American law. Let's see, where did she do her master's thesis? Which was converted with 2 extra chapters into a dissertation, which became a book. Must have been at Cal State Fullerton. John Pushkila, let's see, he did his master's at Cal State Fullerton. Yeah. We have Susie Gaskins, who wrote a 100, now if you're interested in this is good stuff, 100-page chapter on the celluloid execution, Hollywood films and capital punishment, because she must have done her master's thesis at Cal State Fullerton. And I've got Tom Borquez, the means of death. Now it's going to executions in California. It's got all these separate chapters. Let's see, Tom must be LAPD, and he must be a graduate of Masters at Cal State Fullerton. Tim Finch, Masters at Cal State Fullerton. Then there's Dan Stackhouse. Let's see, he must have had a Masters at Cal State Fullerton. Mary Markey must have done a Masters at Cal State Fullerton. She has a full-time tenured position at Long Beach City College. Suggested readings by Catherine Kay. And Catherine is a librarian at Cal State Fullerton. There's this big issue out there. We need to tell the country which institutions give the lowest university grades. Where is it hardest to get an A in America? Well, you look out and you see in the east Boston College. You see Princeton. You see Rensselaer Polytech. Then you sweep out to the west coast. What's the first one mentioned?
Cal State Fullerton.
Cal State Fullerton. Wow. We have academic standards here, folks.